Welcome to the Journey to Wholeness, a podcast by I See My Baby Incorporated. Here, we dive deep into powerful stories of those who have overcome life's greatest challenges, stories of resilience, healing, and renewed faith. I'm Alicia Hurt, your host, and each week we'll speak to individuals who have transformed struggles with infertility, battles with depression, and crisis of faith into profound growth and purpose. Hello, everyone. It's Alicia Hurt here, your servant leader, and I am here with another episode of the Journey to Wholeness. I have a phenomenal guest today. Yes, all of my guests are phenomenal. I have Miss Bella Lucy here, and she's here to help us understand her journey so that we can become inspired and motivated. How you doing, Bella?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm great. I'm blessed. We just celebrated our grand opening here in Bainbridge, Georgia. So I am like on cloud nine.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you so much. So it's enough about us. How about you? Like, tell us about your background and what brought you to this journey.
Okay, so my name is Whitney and my business name is Bella Lucy, right? But it's named after my great grandmother. Her name was Lucy Johnson. I'm Whitney Johnson, of course. And she was like, she wasn't just pretty on the outside, she had a beautiful soul. So this is my way of giving back to her. She has been gone now for 18 years and I still carry her in my heart. So right now I am a licensed esthetician. However, I'm also a autism advocate. So when my 6-year-old was diagnosed with autism, it was of course a complete change for me because I have two girls and one bonus baby, but those two are typical children. My youngest is autistic, so it was a complete change for me. And I was struggling trying to figure out what I needed to do and how I could help her. And of course, I had guilt. So all of those emotions together, I had to figure it out. And with the diagnosis and actually understanding with the grace of God, He led me to, become an entrepreneur. Because that, of course, that transition and what that looks like for my baby girl, my life changed drastically with her being diagnosed with autism, sorry. So fast forward, my entrepreneurial journey started with skin, my passion for skin. So I applied my passion for skin and my passion for special needs children as a whole together. And I filled the gap between like making sure they prioritize their mental health and their skincare as well without guilt.
Got it. Got it. I love that. So tell me, when you found out, first of all, how did the diagnosis experience go?
It was, again, I have to give it to the grace of God because we recognized the signs early. Right at about 8 months, 8 to 12 months, we really could recognize the signs early. And her doctor just informed me and said, hey, let's get her early intervention. We don't have a diagnosis yet, but let's still get her early intervention and put her on a list to be seen by a developmental pediatrician to make sure we can wean that out. And because the wait list was about 2 years long, I went forward with that and we got on a list with my persistence as well and prayer. We got her diagnosed within about 8 months. So not only did we not stay on the list for 2 years, we had an appointment and got her diagnosed and into ABA therapy within a year's time. But that experience, it was difficult for me because I blamed myself. And then the people around me, of course, it's becoming more prevalent for kids and adults to be diagnosed with autism. However, in my family, it's not prevalent. So they thought like, oh, you moved to Georgia, you left us in Maryland, come back to Maryland so she could be around family. They said nothing wrong with her, she'll grow out of it, the normal things people say. And I took on that as well. But what else I took on was, what if she is autistic? What if, she really needs more assistance than what I know to give her, or what we know to give her, or, the normal, oh, that's a child, she'll grow out of it, mindset. And I'm like, okay, if I prolong it, then it's going to be harder for her to be independent on her own as she grow older. So I said, okay, I hear y'all. I understand my own, thoughts around it and feelings around it. However, it's not going to change the fact that she can be autistic. So I went on here with it. And once I got the diagnosis, that's when everybody else started coming around like, oh, okay, well, you were right. You are her mother. You do spend a lot of time with her. So you would know that, the developmental delays that you've seen was because something was going on mentally than just me just saying, oh, my baby is sick or something is wrong.
Right.
So it was a ball of emotions, but I
Yeah,
took
and I like how you were transparent and saying, first off, I didn't know, let me back up, that you moved from Maryland to Georgia. Like your story is similar to mine. So we got to
yes,
get into that off camera, like for real, like what part, all that, right? So I was born and raised Landover, Maryland, Palm Park, like that's me. So we got to talk, right? So anyway, let
yeah,
me get back to it. I like how you were transferring and saying that your family, that was their way of showing up and being supportive, right?
yes.
But you as the mother had to say, now, wait a minute. I
Mhm.
get what my family is saying. Yes, they want us around. They want to love on us and be that village. But then I also have to think through logically, could there be something else with my child? So
Yes.
talk about like how you mustered up the strength to go against the grain.
Um, I've I've always been my immediate family, we are so close, but I've always been the one that goes against the grain. And not in a way to be defiant, but in a way of let me think outside of what the normal is.
Right.
I've always been the one like, let's break these generational curses and let's not just do it this way, just
Right.
because you said that it's supposed to be done this way.
Right.
I always like research. I always think like, I say there's a professional opinion on what goes on, and then there's a personal opinion on what goes on. And when I combine the two, I say, oh, you guys do it this way, or even another family does it this way. And then a professional say this way. Why?
Right.
What way do I want to do it? And I feel like uh, I don't speak up. I used to not speak up a lot. And it just would be in my head. But I'm
Right.
like, I'm an adult now.
Right.
I can think for myself. That's what God gave me a brain for, to think for myself. And I understand and respect how you guys do it, but I have to do it the way I feel comfortable doing it, because only I have to answer for myself. I can't answer for nobody else.
Right.
And then I have children that I decided to bring in to this world that I have to be a voice for as well. And also my 6-year-old who's autistic is also nonverbal. So me being quiet and her being nonverbal, she's not going to get what she needs.
Right.
So it forced me to, speak up and really go forward with what, get it out of my head and vocalize it and then put it into action.
Amen. Y'all hear that? Don't be quiet. Don't be silent. Speak
No.
up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we doubt what is in our mind. Like I do it too.
Yeah.
Like, is that right? Is that true? Is that no? God gave you intuition and a gut
Mhm.
feeling for a reason. Go with it,
Yes.
right? And I love the fact that you said, I have to answer. Me, Alicia, I have to answer for it, not you. When
Yes.
I pass a transition or what have you, God is talking and trying to figure things out. He's not going to say, you can't say, well, Aunt Kathy said, and my mama said. It's no, what did you do, Alicia? So, yes, sis, tell him.
Exactly.
So you talked about leaving the regular workforce and becoming an entrepreneur. That's some scary stuff, sis. Tell
Yeah.
them about it. Tell us about it.
Oh, man. Okay, so of course, I moved to Georgia in 2018. No, nothing, no job, no nothing. We just came on a hope and a prayer. And I worked for the post office. So if anybody has worked for the post office as a carrier or as a whole, you understand. It is not for the weak. The post office is not for the weak. And I was 4 months pregnant when I moved to. So not only was I just had my baby when I started the post office, but it was very demanding. So that's what forced me into a little bit of entrepreneurship. And I started with lashes. So I would just say, oh, let me just sell lashes just to kind of ease my way out. And Casey's dad was just told me, like, why don't you just pursue full-time entrepreneurship? That way you have more time home with my baby girl, Casey, and it will allow you to be more present. Of course, because he's working, my other older children are in school, and my youngest needs every therapy you could think of. And I was putting her in it, but it was difficult for me to get her to those therapies because one speech would be over here, OT would be over here at this time, physical therapy would be at this time, and then the main therapy was ABA therapy, and that's the bulk of it. That had to be this time. And the post office is so demanding that I don't have a set time to go in and I don't have a set time to leave. So it was difficult and I had to make a choice. My baby or the post office. So that's what got me into entrepreneurship. I dibbled and dabbled in it with lashes, like I said, but fast forward, I really had to connect with passion. Like, okay, what do I really want to do? What is it that I can do on my own, whereas it can still help me be more present with my youngest and my other children as well, and still do something that I love to do.
Right.
So I took a lash class to do individual lashes, and they wound up having an esthetician school. And it connected with me because I suffered with eczema for years. I would be two-toned for years. And I'm like, um, when I moved here, not till when I moved to Georgia, the dermatologist told me that the products that I was using was going to thin my skin. So all in the midst of me dealing with my baby, my children, trying to maintain a house and trying to figure out me and what I really wanted to do, I dug deep and I was like, well, my dermatologist told me that this is going to thin my skin. I've been trying to figure out what I needed to do with my skin that has been working, but I still cannot sustain being present without makeup. So the esthetician school was what I did. So I'm like, oh, this connects with me. It resonates with me. I love this. So fast forward, I went to esthetician school. I landed a job at Massage Envy, which is a corporate spa. So it gave me the experience to deal with all nationalities, different skin type, different backgrounds, and it gave me the experience that I needed. Also, they work with my schedule, so they would allow me to be part-time. So
Right.
that allowed me to schedule my baby around those schedules, around my work schedule, and um, do a little bit of work and get some experience. So fast forward, Massage Envy wound up um, firing us, basically. They closed down on a Friday, and that weekend they told us not to come back. That was just February of this year. So it forced me into doing my, stepping out and doing full-time entrepreneurship with my spa now that I've had for almost a year.
Okay.
That was 2020. I'm sorry, it's 2025 now. That was 2024 that happened, February 2024. So yes, I've been there for a year now.
You used the term, and I wish I had my notebook here. You said, I think it was connect with a purpose.
Yes.
Talk about that. That was profound. Like, that's going to be one of the snippets. Talk about it, sis. How do they connect with a purpose?
So you really have to spend time with yourself. If you don't know yourself, then I encourage you to spend some time with yourself. With whomever God you serve, make sure that you spend time with your God as well. And and understand your purpose that He has for you, so that you're not doing it just for money. You're not doing it just because, it's just an idea that just popped up. Make sure that you connect it with why.
Right.
And that's going to keep you going on the days that you don't feel like getting up, on the days where, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I don't have to show up today. It's going to keep you consistent. When you connect with your purpose, it's going to be a different reason why you keep getting up, no matter what it looks like, the good, bad, and ugly, because that's what entrepreneurship is. It's going to keep you motivated and keep you going. So connecting with your purpose is going to be your reason for living, and you're going to attract the people who need you.
Absolutely. Now, tell us, what advice would you give someone that has a child that may have been diagnosed, may not have been diagnosed yet? What advice would you give them?
I would say spend time with your child, and then really get to know, like, what triggers them, what doesn't trigger them, what motivates them, what doesn't motivate them. And then talk with professionals, developmental pediatricians, to see what they say, and then do your own research, and then put those together, and set aside your feelings and emotions, though, to make sure that you're logically thinking and doing the best for your child. With that, you'll be more inclined to, even though you may not agree with it, you'll still do it, because early intervention is key with these, with special needs.
Yeah,
Early intervention is definitely key. And you don't have to suffer alone. You don't have to do it alone.
I agree. So for those that may be in a rural community or not familiar with terminology or what have you, do you know of any resources that they can reach out to, or websites that can help them with that research part?
So with the research part, I'm fortunate to have a program called Babies Can't Wait. And in that program, it was our early intervention program. So prior to her being diagnosed, they send your child through there, and they send you a therapist. So they send you a therapist to work with your child. So I was fortunate enough to have that resource. But I would reach out to early intervention programs near you. I would send your child to daycare, preschool, whatever is age appropriate for your child. Send them to the typical ones, and that's considered normal. Send them there and see what they say before you even get them diagnosed. See what they say. Send them there, like, don't tell them what's going on, just send them there. And those individuals or professionals can guide you. I reach out to support groups, and then especially Facebook. Facebook has a lot of support groups for whatever you think that your child has. Facebook has a lot of support groups, and then you read through through the situations that they have going on, and you're like, oh, you know what? That sounds familiar. My child does that too. it's not a complete, but it's a basis for what goes on. And then I go to like CDC websites, I Google, you know, this what my child is doing that I don't feel like is normal, or I Google um what the child should be doing and what they're currently doing now. And
Right.
then, go through the .org websites, some credible websites, and go that way.
So how do you maintain your resilience in the face of ongoing challenges?
Uh prayer. Prayer. I have support groups as well, that share their experiences to know that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And I understand that I've been taking care of children like my little cousins, and other people kids gravitate towards me for years since I've been a little girl. And I feel like it's my purpose, and I'm supposed to. Casey was diagnosed and has autism because this group of parents, and group of children need me. So with that, that's my why, and that's what keeps me going. I'm like, I'm needed. They need to hear my story. They need to hear how I stay focused. They need to hear, even though it looks hard or it is hard, it's another day. It's only for a short period of time.
Right. And what is a quote or mantra that you swear by? You're like, listen, I need this in your times of feeling down. It's your go-to.
My go-to, I have a few, but one is, if God puts you through it, he will see you through it. So if I'm dealing with this at a time, or I'm dealing with a difficult time, I'm like, I'm supposed to learn something from this.
Right.
This is here for a reason. And I know I talk a lot about God, but I have to understand, and I have to realize that it's not about me. This is bigger than me. So I hear people say that say that a lot, like, this is bigger than me. And my youngest baby being diagnosed is bigger than me. So it's there's a reason and a purpose for everything that goes on in life. And sometimes it's either a lesson, or yeah, it's only a lesson. It's a lesson, and it's for growth. It's preparing you for the next step, the next level.
Amen.
Yeah.
So for those individuals that really connect and resonate with you and have more questions, how can they reach out to you?
So I'm on Instagram as the Bella Lucy Spa. And you can send me a DM there. If you're in Georgia, I'm located in Sandy Springs, right off of Roswell Road, but all my information is there. I'm always willing to help. Of course, I am an autism advocate as well, and I connect and I resonate, especially with special needs moms. So if you need someone to talk to, you need an ear, or you need advice, I'm available. Just send me a message. The Bella Lucy Spa on Instagram.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And so what's one message if the listeners didn't hear anything else, right? But you want them to take away, what would that be?
Make sure that you understand and know your purpose in life, so that it can motivate you to keep going through good, bad, and the ugly.
Amen. Amen. Listen, I thank you so much, Miss Bella. I would definitely love to see you in person. I know Georgia is big, so we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
And I am thankful that God brought you to Georgia. There's work for you there. You're serving in many capacities, and I just send you many blessings and ask God to increase your territory, increase,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
bless
I
you
receive it.
abundantly. Yes. All right, and I thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Journey to Wholeness. Take care. Thank you for joining us today on the journey to wholeness. We hope this episode has offered you a sense of hope, comfort, and perhaps even a new perspective on your own journey. If today's story resonated with you, remember that you're not alone. Healing is a process, and each step you take brings you closer to wholeness. Here, we believe in the power of community, and we're so grateful to have you as a part of us. To stay connected with us, follow I See My Baby Incorporated on social media and visit our website at www.iseemybaby.org. If you or someone you know has a story to share, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep walking, keep healing, and remember, your journey to wholeness is worth every step. Take care, and thank you for listening.